It is another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the 6 films of December 21st, 2007. And, this is, of course, 4 days before Christmas, and 'twas 4 days before Christmas, and all through Hollywood, we get an assortment of different movies, some good, some not so good. We have the sequel to National Treasure. We have Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, and Philip Seymour Hoffman in a Mike Nichols war film written by Aaron Sorkin. Tim Burton and Johnny Depp reunite once again for a musical about the demon barber of Fleet Street. Hilary Swank stars in a movie where Gerard Butler is her boyfriend, and he dies in a watered-down version of Ghost. We have one of the most underrated comedies that came out this weekend, and also of the year that came out this weekend, I should say. And we have a film that I misled you on last time around. This is not the remake of Private Benjamin, even though she did do a remake of Private Benjamin. No, this is a remake of another 80s comedy, Working Girl, starring Jessica Simpson. We'll get to that one in a little bit, but let's start with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is the sequel to National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets.
What is it about treasure that makes history so fascinating?
Benjamin Gates has spent a lifetime hunting treasures that have been lost to history.
Take a look at this.
But when a secret from the past is uncovered...
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you one of the missing pages from the diary of John Wilkes Booth.
history will be rewritten.
It's the names of the Lincoln conspirators. Thomas Gates.
Your great-great-granddaddy planned the assassination.
It can't be. We cannot have him remembered as a conspirator in the assassination of the man who brought this nation together.
Now,
I need to see the page.
You have 30 seconds to disable the alarm. Go.
You did that in 15 seconds.
That's why I tell people to get a dog.
his search to clear his family's name
Take a look at this.
It's a cipher.
Clever.
has uncovered a secret he never expected to find.
There is a book, and it has the information you need. The President's Book of Secrets. A collection of documents for President's eyes only. The truth behind the JFK conspiracy. The missing minutes from the Watergate tapes. And of course, Area 51.
It contains all of our nation's secrets. I need to see the president's book.
The only way you'll ever see that book is if you get elected president.
I'm going to kidnap him. I'm going to kidnap the president of the United States.
Wouldn't it have just been easier for us to make an appointment?
Code one! Code one! Gates, don't kid yourself what we're capable of.
Every clue leads one step closer
A letter sent by the Queen. You're in danger.
You've got to find wherever that leads before they do.
to unlocking the mystery. The world isn't ready to believe.
Ben, wait. That could be a horrible trap.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
National Treasure, Book of Secrets.
Oh, look, my tax dollars at work coming to arrest me.
So National Treasure Book of Secrets follows the gang several years after the last time they found the Knights Templar and became rich and famous, and now they basically have all become broke, and now another treasure hunter, played by Ed Harris, has found what is the missing piece of the diary of John Wilkes Booth, which contains clues to the location of a lost city of gold. Ben must compete against Mitch to find the lost city. He goes to France and Great Britain to find other clues, and even peek inside the president's secret book to put the pieces of the puzzle together. His parents and his friends also help Ben find the lost city to stay one step ahead of Mitch. You know, for a movie series that thinks it's smarter than Indiana Jones is looking much smarter than these fucking movies are, because good lord, the first movie was bad enough on its own, and so now we have a sequel here, and someone said, let's take the absurdity levels of the first film, and let's really just throw them out the door for this movie, because good lord, this one is a bunch of baloney and garbage that they're making you sit through. I mean, good lord, this film is absolutely abysmal. This is a film that makes the first one look like a masterpiece by comparison. I mean, it's literally the same film as the last movie. It's the typical let's do it again sequel where everybody has regressed from where they were before at the end of the last film, and they have to add another stupid storyline here to make a sequel worth it. And yeah, it makes for a film that is not really that inventive or fun whatsoever. There's not a lot of good action in the movie. The acting is pretty bland overall. The idea of the president having this secret book where he has all this information about all the events that we're not ready for, it's just like in a much better movie this would probably work better, but no, not in a film like this where all the cool stuff doesn't happen on screen. It's happening when you're reading when these people are reading a book. I mean, most of these people in this movie would rather read a book, look online, instead of actually doing the stuff that Indiana Jones would do, like, punching Nazis, going and looking for gold and all that. Not in this movie. No. We have to do this in the most stupidest way that makes us think that we're smart enough to do it, but it makes for a snooze fest of a movie, because I'm sorry, reading a book and looking through all these different things to try to find this stuff is nowhere near as fun as just watching Indiana Jones do it with a whip and his abilities that he's able to do over the years. And yeah, this is a film that just doesn't work at all. It's a boring film. It's a film that has nothing to matter whatsoever. It's a lazy film. I can't believe this was a big hit. This was a film it made more money than the first film did. Like, what do people see in these National Treasure movies that I'm not seeing at all here? And it's just like, it's not worth it. There's nothing in this film that makes it worth it whatsoever. I mean, it's a boring movie. Nothing is going on. The story is not that interesting. The characters are not that interesting. It's a lazy sequel to a franchise that, quite honestly, should not even be a franchise. Like, I still can't believe this first film beat out the SpongeBob movie, which was the far superior movie. This is just absolute garbage. This is a terrible movie, man. And I might be the one person on this planet that says that, but I'm sorry. I find nothing of value in this movie whatsoever. So yeah, that's my thoughts on National Treasure, The Book of Secrets. How about we get to some good movies finally? Let's start with the second film we have here today, and that is Charlie Wilson's War.
Wilson's War has been nominated for 5 Golden Globe Awards, including Best Picture.
Without Charlie, history would be sadly different.
Sometimes you have to be unconventional to accomplish the unbelievable. Charlie Wilson's War, rated R.
What a great movie, man. This is one of my favorite films of all time. I mean, this is a film that's, for a director like Mike Nichols, this is the last film he directed, and what a way to go out as a director, man. In the film, it's based off the story of U.S. Congressman Charlie Wilson, played by Tom Hanks, and CIA operative Gust Avocatos, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but he's played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, whose efforts lead to Operation Cyclone, a program to organize and support the Afghan Mujahideen during the Soviet-Afghan War. And not only that, you have a script written by Aaron Sorkin and a cast which features a ton of notable names in this film. I mean, Julia Roberts, Amy Adams, Ned Beatty, John Slattery, Rachel Nichols. I mean, there's a lot of notable names in this movie. Emily Blunt is in the film as well. Shiri Appleby. I mean, there's a lot of good people in the film, and the film is just so damn good. I mean, this is one of those movies that came out of nowhere to become this really fantastic film that it is. I mean, Tom Hanks, you're always going to get a good performance out of him no matter what. Julia Roberts does a fantastic job, as does Philip Seymour Hoffman. The supporting cast in here is a ton of fun to watch. Amy Adams is really good here. Emily Blunt, really good in the movie. Not only his performance, but like she makes it fully aware that her presence is there right from the get-go in her scene with Tom Hanks. I mean, I think you know which scene I'm talking about, but not only that, it's then followed by the introduction of Philip Seymour Hoffman's character with John Slattery from Mad Men, and that scene is just pure perfection. That is the best scene in the entire movie, and I really do believe that's the scene that won Philip Seymour Hoffman the nomination for Best Supporting Actor at the Academy Awards. Of course, he didn't win it, but that he got a nomination for that. And if you watch that movie in particular, I mean, that scene in particular, that's the reason why I think he got that nomination, because he definitely deserves it for that. That's one of the great character interests I've ever seen in the movie. This film is just great. Charlie Wilson's War is just a great movie. Every adult can enjoy it, especially men, considering that the film literally opens up with Tom Hanks sitting in a hot tub with 3 naked women. I mean, this is a winner all across the board. It's a smart film. It's a very funny film. It's a very dramatic film. It's all the pieces coming together, making for a great, great film. I mean, This is a great study of showing how we've gotten to this point in our history, and it is really an enjoyable movie. From the script by Aaron Sorkin, from the direction by Mike Nichols, from the cast, everything about this movie works. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I can't recommend it enough. Charlie Wilson's War. Definitely check it out. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie we have here, and that is Tim Burton reuniting with Johnny Depp once again, this time for Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Desperate measures are called for.
All right. You, sir? No one's in the chair. Come on, come on. Sweeney's waiting. I want you bleeders. You, sir? Two, sir. Welcome to the grave. I will have vengeance. I will have salvation.
I honestly don't need to say much more about that. That scene is pretty amazing. I mean, this movie is a masterpiece, man. This is a film that is based off, of course, of the Broadway musical by Stephen Sondheim and Hugh Wheeler, which was turned into a 1970 play by Christopher Bond, and it retells the melodramatic Victorian tale of Sweeney Todd, played by Depp, who's an English barber and serial killer who, after arriving in London, he begins to seek revenge on Judge Turpin, played by Alan Rickman, who wrongfully convicted and exiled him in order to steal his wife. Sweeney Todd commits several murders on his customers, and with the help of an accomplice played by Helena Bonham Carter, processes their corpses into meat pies. If that is not enough for me to say, hell yes, I love this movie, then quite frankly, I don't know what's going to convince you. Because, yeah, this definitely is one of Tim Burton's greatest underrated masterpieces of a movie. This is such a great film. It plays to all the strengths of what Tim Burton is capable of giving you. I mean, the direction is absolutely fantastic. The set design's amazing. The musical numbers are great. There's a number of great musical numbers all throughout the course of the film. The cast overall is great. This is a perfect role for Johnny Depp. He sells this so completely, and it does not feel like he's playing an over-the-top character just for the sake of playing an over-the-top character. He is so committed to this, and he plays it so well. And I love his connections with Helena Bonham Carter in this movie, and the way he gets revenge on Alan Rickman in this movie through a musical number nonetheless. It's a masterpiece of a film. It's a great movie. It's a film that's not afraid to go dark when it needs to. It's a really damn good film. What more can I say, man? I don't have much more to say about this one, man. This is one of the best musicals of the 21st century, if not the best one. I'd have to think about that, though, because we've had some pretty good musicals as of late. But yeah, this is definitely up there with some of the best musicals of all time. Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. So, we said a couple good movies there. Now let's get back to some crap. Here's Hilary Swank starring with Gerard Butler in P.S. I Love You.
I'm not going anywhere. Holly thought her life was over, but on December 21st, her friends will show her how to pursue new interests.
Oh, you got a fish! Turn the knob again!
How to meet guys.
Are you single?
Yes.
Are you gay?
Yes. And how to live it up. Hilary Swank, Jared Butler.
Are you gay?
No.
Are you working?
No. P.S. I Love You. Rated PG-13. Starts December 21st.
Evidently, no one told Lisa Kudrow that Friends was canceled 3 years ago, so she could stop pretending that she's acting in a sitcom. I mean, what was even the crux of that joke? I mean, are you single? No. Are you gay? No. And then later on, and then before that, it was, are you single? Yes. Are you gay? Yes. Like, okay, what's the punchline here? I don't know, and I don't think the people who made this movie knows. But Hilary Swank plays a young widow who discovers that her late husband has left her 10 messages intended to help ease her pain and start a new life. Like I said before, imagine a watered-down version of Ghost, where instead of having this side plot where, these people are trying to kill Patrick Swayze's girlfriend, and he has to basically get Whoopi Goldberg's help to save the day in the long run. And of course, you have the demons in that movie. Yeah, imagine this. That's this movie, except all the cool stuff that was in Ghost is taken out of there, and what you get here is a film that is right at home on ABC's lineup, sandwiched between Grey's Anatomy and Brothers and Sisters. I mean, that's how lazy this movie is. This is a poorly put together film, and this is directed by Richard LaGravenese, who worked with Hilary Swank before earlier in the year on another bad movie, Freedom Riders. And yeah, nothing about this movie works at all. The chemistry doesn't work at all. Hilary Swank has proven that she can star in good movies overall, but man, she picked some real bad movies around this time. And 2007 was very much a bad year for her in terms of the film she chose. I mean, this Freedom Riders, The Invasion. I mean, just one bad film after another, man. Gerard Butler to capitalize on this after 300, not a good move at all. And yeah, there's nothing about the film that works at all. Everything about this movie is schlocky. It's bland. You could tell that this is a film that's clearly written not for the intentions of entertaining a full audience. This is a film that you take your gal pals to. We talk about this so many times on other occasions. 80 for Brady is a perfect example of it. You call your gal pals up on a Friday or Saturday night and say, "Hey, let's go to the movies, dress up. We're gonna drink Chardonnay and talk about our lives on the while we're trying to watch the movie." While we pretend we watch the movie, and then when our husbands ask us how was the movie when we came home, we all say together, "Wait, I saw a movie tonight." That's the type of movie that this film is. It is such a clustered mess of a film, and it takes an idea that has worked so well in the past in much better movies like Ghost, and just makes it more pathetic and lazy and devoid of anything that makes it worth it in the long run. This is a terrible film. Avoid this one like the plague. So we had a bad romantic comedy. Let's get to a good comedy. Let's talk about one of the most underrated comedies of the 2000s. And that is, of course, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Help people with my music.
Like your family.
No. The guy who brought you Talladega Nights, Knocked Up, and Superbad invite you to meet Dewey Cox.
Walk hard. Hard. It's the devil's music.
This holiday season, there's a rift between the Beatles.
I've got a song about an octopus.
I like the little one. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Rated R.
I think their first mistake was releasing this on Christmas weekend. It's an R-rated comedy. Yeah, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to squeeze this in with, like, you know, when some of the other big musical biopics they're satirizing came out. Ray, Walk the Line, those type of films. And yeah, I get the idea, but yeah, you usually do not open R-rated comedies like this on Christmas weekend. You don't usually open R-rated mainstream films like this on Christmas weekend unless you're an Oscar contender. Because yeah, just like with this movie, it didn't do very well. It bombed pretty hard at the box office, but it was a hit with critics, and it did eventually go on to have a cult following, which I could say thank God for that, man, because yeah, this film definitely deserves every bit of it. As I said before, this is a parody of the musical biopic genre, where Walk Hard is the story of a fictional early rock and roll star named Dewey Cox, played by John C. Reilly, and it references mostly Ray and Walk the Line, but it also references the careers of Ray Charles and Johnny Cash, along with a lot of other musical talents: Roy Orbison, Glenn Campbell, Bob Dylan, Jerry Lee Lewis, John Lennon, James Brown, Neil Diamond, Hank Williams, Brian Wilson. There's fictional versions of everybody from the Beatles to the Big Bopper to Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley played by Jack White, and the Beatles played by some regulars of the Judd Apatow crew: Jack Black, Jason Schwartzman, Paul Rudd. You have people playing themselves in this movie: Eddie Vedder, Joe, Ghostface Killer. A lot of parodies and celebrity cameos all across the film, and it's a great film, man. It's a film that was not the big, like I said, it wasn't the biggest hit of the Judd Apatow streak that he had going as a producer and as a director as well, because, excuse me, of course, this was around the time when he was making all these movies and they were becoming big hits overall. And yeah, this one is the least popular of the ones, unfortunately. That was not the big hit at the box office, but it worked because it works. It works. If this had been released on another weekend besides Christmas, I think this film would have been the big blockbuster hit that something like Talladega Nights and Superbad were. But this movie really is one of the best films Apatow has produced. John C. Reilly is at his comedic and musical best, and I mean musical best, because the songs in this movie are so damn good. They are so catchy and so memorable. The last song of the movie, where it's culminating everything that was going on in Dewey Cox's life, is a pitch-perfect way for this film to end. It's a song that once in a while I'll pop it on, because it's just one of those songs that I have to listen to it every once in a while. It's that good of a song. And you know, like with a movie like Fanboys, which came out, which was supposed to be released around this time, but came out a few years later, it offers a lot of great cameos, great comedy, pretty fun acting all across the board, a lot of really good music. It's just a masterpiece of a comedy. It's a fun parody. It's a well-made film. It shows what John C. Reilly can do as the star of the film. I think this was another one of those movies where Will Ferrell was supposed to be the star of it, but like with Hot Rod, he just wasn't right for the role, and they thought that he couldn't sing in this movie, which, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but I think it worked out in favor for John C. Reilly because it did show that, hey, he's not just a good dramatic actor. He could be a very funny comedic actor, and this definitely shows what he's capable of in a leading comedic role. And this is just not much more I can say about this movie, man, except definitely check this one out. If you love the 40-Year-Old Virgin, Talladega Nights, Knocked Up, Superbad, you got to see this movie because it's more than worth it. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, definitely check it out. It's probably my favorite film of the entire weekend outside of Charlie Wilson's War. But that's Walk Hard. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the last one we have here, and that's Jessica Simpson starring in Blonde Ambition.
To be a big deal
This is my first time in New York City.
in the Big Apple. Keep your head up.
It's a cute helmet. Does Barbie want it back?
And to think most guys would have held me up by now.
Land a job.
How about a position at Connolly and Connolly? What do you think? I think not.
Change your look.
Ow! This is fun.
Yeah, they say that this isn't a remake of Working Girl, but come on, it's freaking Working Girl, except Working Girl was a much better movie. It had better actors, it had a better story overall. This is just Jessica Simpson trying to save whatever was left of her leading film career. And like I said before, she decided to go and remake some of the most notable female-centered comedies of the 80s because she did this, and then she did the other one, the Private Benjamin remake, which was, I believe, it was something called Valentine, Blonde and Dangerous, I think it was. Let me see. Yeah, Private Valentine, Blonde and Dangerous. But we'll get to that a little in 2008. But Jessica Simpson stars as a small-town girl who moves to New York City and rises up into a career as a businesswoman. And, we have a cast also includes Luke Wilson, Rachel Lee Cook, Penelope Ann Miller, Andy Dick, Larry Miller, Willie Nelson, and directed by Scott Marshall, who did a pretty good movie that came out the year before, Keeping Up with the Steins. And honestly thought he was going to be like his dad and turn into the next great comedic director. And sadly, that was not the case, as he's gone on to direct mostly just bland, forgettable, movies that eventually go straight to DVD, and he has not really done much since then. And it's a shame, because I thought there was some potential there, but nope, just relegated to whatever crap Jessica Simpson thinks is entertainment. And yeah, this is definitely if P.S. I Love You is a watered-down version of Ghost, this is definitely a watered-down version of Working Girl. I mean, this is a film that is not made to be on that same level of Working Girl, where you actually have a very convincing storyline, good characters, a good developing drama going on here with a nice mix of comedy, and just top talent all across the board here. This is a film that is clearly meant for a direct-to-video release, and that's exactly what it was. Although somebody at this studio decided, we're going to put this on the big screen, surely we'll find somebody to see it. And, it made $1.6 million, but it was seen as a box office disappointment. But, yeah, the film is not that great overall. It's a pretty bland film. It features a lot of stuff you've seen done on much better movies, and there's just nothing about this film that's different compared to a film like A Working Girl, or even a 9 to 5, if you will. But, yeah, the film is not that great overall. It's a pretty forgettable film, and like I said, it's one of the last few small glimmers of whatever life is left of Jessica Simpson's film career, because after this and Private Valentine, that was pretty much over and done with, and she just went back straight to music. At least I think she did, because I don't remember anything else that she was in after 2008. But who knows? I might be proven wrong on that. But anyway, that's Blonde Ambition. Just watch Working Girl. It's a much better movie than this garbage is. And so with all of that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and the next time we meet, we'll look at the films that were released on Christmas Day, the last official releases of 2007. We have 7 of them to look at, including Alien vs. Predator Requiem. And remember what I said about Walk Hard being released on Christmas week? Here's another film that should have known better. But we have The Water Horse, Legend of the Deep. We have Denzel Washington's directed film in which he stars with Forrest Whitaker, The Great Debaters. Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman starring Rob Reiner's The Bucket List, from the same people that produced Pan's Labyrinth. Guillermo del Toro produced this one. The Orphanage. Daniel Day-Lewis in his Oscar-winning role in Paul Thomas Anderson's There Will Be Blood. And also the animated feature Persepolis. So we have 7 more films to look at in 2007, and then we move on to 2008. That'll be coming up on tomorrow's show, so be on the lookout for that. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification button, and the bell, because you get updates on when new videos come out, and we do post new videos here every day. Now with all that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.